My name is Lowell Salvador Acumi, and today I'm sharing the Daily Word. The topic is, if God is refining you, why does it feel like fire, and what does that mean for leaders? If you're leading anything right now, a team, a ministry, a family, or a vision, and the weight feels heavier than you expected, Scripture names that experience. Malachi 3 verses 2-3 in the NIV says, "Who can endure the day of his coming? For he is like a refiner's fire. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver." God as a refiner does not stand at a distance from the fire. He sits beside it. Refinement is intentional, it's observed, and it's carefully measured. In the Old Testament period, refining silver required sustained heat. The refiner stayed close, removing impurities until he could see his reflection in the metal. That moment matters because the fire stopped not when that metal survived, but when he reflected the image of the refiner. In the same way, God does not put pressure on the leader to see if they can merely endure it. He refines so that his character becomes visible in how we lead, how we speak, and how we respond when the heat is on. Leadership pressure does not mean God stepped back. It often means he's leaned in. Isaiah 48 verse 10 NIV says, "See, I have refined you. Though not as silver, I have tested you in the furnace of affliction." Isaiah is speaking to Israel during a time of exile, a time of failed leadership, and a time of collapsed systems. And God is saying plainly to them, this furnace is not destruction. Proverbs 17:3 in the NIV puts it bluntly, "The crucible is for silver and the furnace for gold, but the Lord tests the heart." In other words, pressure reveals what cannot be seen on the surface. A crucible does not change the metal. It exposes what's already there. Fire brings hidden impurities to the top so they can't be removed. Leadership works the same way. Growth, visibility, and influence can hide pride, fear, and insecurity, but pressure cannot. When decisions are costly, when obedience is inconvenient, and when no one is watching, the heart is revealed. Leadership is not ultimately tested by numbers, reach, or results. It's tested by the heart under pressure, by who we become when authority costs us something, and by whether we choose faithfulness over self-preservation. That is why God tests the heart, because skill can build platforms, but only a refined heart can steward them. Peter echoes this in 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 6 and 7 NIV. He tells believers under persecution, "Though now for a little while you may have had to suffer grief in various trials, these have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith may result in praise, glory, and honor when Jesus Christ is revealed." That phrase, proven genuine in the Greek, means tested, examined, and approved as authentic. This word was used for metals that had passed through the fire and were found to be pure. The fire did not create the gold in that moment. And the same is true in leadership. Pressure does not suddenly make someone faithful or unfaithful. It exposes what has been forming quietly all along. When leadership costs us comfort, reputation, or control, the fire reveals whether our faith is rooted in obedience or in outcomes. God allows refinement not to embarrass his leaders, but to establish them. What is proven genuine under pressure is what can be trusted with influence. Hebrews 12 verses 10 and 11 NIV says, "God disciplines us for our good, in order that we may share in his holiness." And then it says something honest. "No discipline seemed pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace." Leadership refinement is painful first, peaceful later. Scripture never reverses that order. And then look at Jesus with Peter in Luke 22 verses 31-32 NIV. Jesus says, "Simon, Simon, Satan has asked to sift all of you as wheat, but I have prayed for you, Simon, that your faith may not fail." Sifting was a refining process. Wheat was shaken so that what was useful remained and what was empty fell away. Jesus does not deny that pressure, but he defines the purpose. The refining is allowed, but the outcome is that we are protected. Peter's failure did not cancel his calling. It only clarified it. The fire revealed what still needed refining in Peter's life so that he could lead from a place of humility rather than self-confidence. Jesus himself walked through the ultimate refining fire: rejection, betrayal, silence, the cross. But Hebrews 12:2 NIV tells us he endured it for the joy set before him. The refining work of Jesus does not produce noise, it produces integrity. So if you're in the fire right now, Scripture says this clearly. God is not punishing you, he is preparing you, because refined leaders do not just lead well, they reflect Christ. And that is the point. I pray that the daily word today was a blessing to you. If you would like to partner with Church for Entrepreneurs, go to churchforentrepreneurs.com/partner. If you would like to join our online community, go to churchforentrepreneurs.com. Have a blessed rest of your day.